and welcome to another week of what? Kingdom Builders, Credit Repair, Credit and Financial Tips with yours truly, Michelle Green. You may know me as Michelle Green, or you may know me as KB Michelle Green. Listen, we are super excited for you to be here today. We are super excited for you to be here anytime that you join us. Listen, make sure that first you are subscribed to our KBCR YouTube channel, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the KBCR podcast so that you never ever miss another episode of the KBCR TV show and podcast with yours truly. That's right. We want to make sure that you are listening in so that you can learn about these credit and financial tips so that you know how to manage your money, honey. That's what we want to do. So thank you for being here again, and make sure that you are subscribed, but also check your check that bell. You see that bell at the top of the screen? Go ahead and make sure that notification button is set so that you will never miss when we go live. That way you don't have to wait until we send out a notification. That we will be able to connect with you directly through YouTube. So thank you everybody for joining us today. Listen, we got a new look today, and we're going to have this look going forward. So I just want to thank you guys for allowing us to make changes and to make time changes and all these sorts of things, just allowing us the grace to be able to make changes and still watch the show. I hope that you find that show beneficial for your finances, for your money, for your credit, for all things related to how to better yourself as a person in the world who has to deal with credit, okay, and finances. So, anywho, now that we got that out of the way, I just want to begin by sharing what it is that we do. We are a credit repair company, but we're not just any old credit repair company. What we do is we help you to get anything that is a late payment, a charge off write off, a collection account, anything that's hurting your credit. We help you get that deleted from your credit report. But we also don't just work on the late payments, the charge off write offs, and the collections. We, in addition to that, work on, guess what? Your profile information, your inquiries. We help you to establish credit, and we teach you how to manage credit. That's right. We even show you things from a lender's perspective. So if you are out there trying to figure out maybe why you have been denied for credit, maybe why your finances are looking funny, and maybe you think that it's the income, but it's actually not the income, it's all in the strategy of how you manage your credit and how you manage your finances. So I want you to know and understand that it's not always that you just need to go and make some more money. That is usually the foundation of credit, but that's not usually how credit is maintained and sustained for a period of time. So I want you guys to understand that you have the ability to be able to do what you need to do with your credit if you have the right information, if you have the right understanding, and then you can go and apply what you know. That's right. And you can find that right on over here. Come on over to KBCR, Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. Now, if you haven't already joined our program, listen, I want you to go to the website after the show and click on the Let's Talk button at the bottom of the website so that you can connect with us. We can collaborate. We can talk about what is going on with your particular credit so we can get your credit right. That's right. We want to make sure that we are empowering you to be able to have that financial dominion that you have been dreaming about. You know, the financial dominion of being able to get that house, being able to get that luxury car, being able to send your kids to college, being able to teach your kids about money and credit. And in addition to that, being able to retire, leave a legacy for your family for generations and generations to come. Now, I do want to just give this little shameless plug about our Financial Dominion Masterclass. We completed our Financial Dominion Masterclass 2 days ago, and what we have done in that class with those students has been phenomenal. Okay, they have learned that they have the money, that they just didn't know what they were doing with the money. So I want to present to you or offer to you the opportunity to sign up or enroll today. If you go to the website of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair and you let us know in a message that you want to join the next Financial Dominion Masterclass, listen, we're going to definitely get you signed up. And what this masterclass does for finances is it helps you to get your finances completely in order. I'm not just talking about looking at a budget of expenses, but I'm talking about your taxes. I'm talking about learning how to save money and how to invest and how to trade if you're thinking about things like that. We're also learning in the class, we learn how to handle trust funds. We talk about how to set them up. We talk about all sorts of things. So it's not just about one thing or another. It's about all things as a financial portfolio that you would like to have if you don't already have one. Or maybe you have one and you don't even know that you have it. But we want to make sure that you are signed up for the new Financial Dominion Masterclass that will be starting on in September. The first Wednesday of September is when we have class on the next semester of Financial Dominion. Listen, we are looking at a big change in your credit and finances when you come into that Financial Domain Masterclass. Now, it's not just like a little bit of change. It is a little pretty penny, but it's affordable. We allow installment payments. We allow you to be able to do the things that you need to do to make sure that you're getting the information that you need to get. And you have yours truly as your coach, as your mentor, as the one that is going to be teaching you, guiding you, helping you to understand exactly what you need to do. And if we need to bring in anybody else into the equation, we can. Listen, you never know what's going to happen in the Financial Domain Masterclass. And I can tell you that all of the students that took the class, that came to class, they have learned so many different things. The ones that have actually graduated, they have really a different change of mind. Now they have investments. Now they have their accounts set up where they can invest money, where they can save money. They are on track to building a future financially for their families and for those who they are connected to. Even those who are business owners that were in the class, they have a whole different mindset around how they should manage their money. And that is what we offer at KBCR. KBCR is the sponsor for the Financial Domain Masterclass. So we just want you to understand that there is a huge opportunity for you to get enrolled today in the next Financial Domain Masterclass starting in September. So if you're interested, don't forget to go to the website after the show. All right. Now, I want to begin the show by talking about credit and what it is, because we never want to assume that if you're watching for the first time or if you're watching for the 100th time, we want to make sure that you understand what credit is. Credit is your ability to be able to borrow money from a financial institution of some sort. It could be a bank, it could be a credit union, it could be another company that has been established even online just to offer financial services to you, offer you money, a loan, a credit card, a mortgage, a vehicle loan, or a personal loan. It could be that they are there specifically for financing, maybe a department store card or a furniture account. But when we think about credit, we want to understand that when we don't have enough money to take care of the things that are already on our credit, then that is the opportunity for us to have to go to a lender or creditor to ask them to allow us to borrow the money, and we pay it back with interest, right? We pay it back with interest because what? Because we know that we don't have anything for free. So if they got the money and the reputation to lend to us temporarily, then if we do what is right, we can have an excellent credit score. Now, I do want to talk about just briefly when we talk about credit, we want to understand that credit has a numerical range. A numerical range of credit extends from the lowest level at a 300 credit score to the highest level of an 850 credit score. Now, when we talk about that range, we want to understand that just by having your name and your address and phone number and just the basic simple things of your profile on your credit, that itself within itself can be something that will give you at least 300 points. But we want to have a credit score in between. I would say a really decent score would be around a 660 to a 700, and that's where we try to get all of our clients to get over the 700 hump. We know that when you get over that 700 mark with your credit score, then you are in it to win it. You are in it to win it because you are now able to go and get whatever you want with a decent interest rate, with a decent monthly payment, and you're able to get pretty much anything: houses, cars, loans, vehicles, whatever it is that you desire. If you have a 660 to about a 700, 720, then you are in there. You are able to do whatever you want to do with your credit. So that's where we need to stay. And this is one of the major questions that we have around credit as it pertains to our clients who come into our program. They want to know what kind of score do they need in order for them to have an average credit score. Well, that is the answer. That is the solution right there. Also, when we think about credit, we want to understand that as a person who is going to be a consumer is basically anyone who is going to consume some type of debt credit. They are going to consume the things that are available to be sold to them. And so when we look at buying our clothes, buying our some of us buying our hair, we are buying shoes and accessories, we are buying jewelry, we are buying whatever it is that we want to purchase, then we got to understand that we want a really good reputation behind just going and deciding that we want to go borrow the money so that we can get the things that we want or the things that we need. So I want us to have a understanding that you just don't want to live a life where you're always struggling to pay someone back. You do want to have a mindset going into the realm of credit that you are doing exactly what you need to do so that whenever you gain credit, whenever you have a credit account, that you are really doing your best to keep the contract terms and conditions so that you can later on, when you need credit again, you'll be able to do exactly that. So, now that we got all of that out of the way, what are we talking about today? We are talking about credit cards. We're going to talk about credit cards for a little bit because one of the things that I think that are so many people in the world today, especially in the United States of America, when we think about credit, we think about, okay, I just got to go get me a credit card or two. But it's not about the credit card that you're getting. What we have to understand about credit is there has to be diversity of different types of accounts on your credit for you to have a excellent credit score. Or even if you're not trying to go to the excellent level, but let's say you're just trying to get above that 640, 650 range and you want to have pretty much a excellent score around 680 to 700, then you want to make sure that you are doing what you need to do besides just getting a credit card. But I do want to talk about today, how does the credit card work? What are the things that we are supposed to do when it relates to us having a credit card? Most of us, I have found, being in this industry for over 30 plus years, that we are afraid of credit cards. Some of us are afraid of credit cards, and the other half of us are using the credit card so badly that it is causing our credit scores to drop within 30 days. Okay, and so let's take note today on how to properly use our credit cards. When we have a credit card, we got to understand that credit cards they're going to come by a dime a dozen. Some of the companies like American Express, they have over 800 credit cards to offer to people. So when you think about a credit card, you want to know that there are so many companies that offer credit cards, and pretty much almost every financial institution in the world that exists has a credit card option at some point in time to give to their customer. So, with you being the consumer and having the understanding that you do need credit because credit is up there with oxygen, then you need to know that you have the ability to get a credit card, but you also need to position yourself to not just get credit cards, but to get other types of debt too. But we do know that credit cards are the entryway or the foundation of you starting out getting a decent credit score. Now, the way that we want to emphasize today, I will say emphasize how to use the credit card. There are three things that you need to understand about how to use a credit card, okay? When we talk about credit card usage, we want to first understand that credit cards are very different from our loans. So when you think about credit, credit consists of only two types of entities of purchases. So when we talk about those two different types of entities, we're talking about a loan and a card of some kind. That's the only thing that should ever be on your credit. Now, I know we got some of this alternative supplemental type credit that we are establishing, companies like Acima and Affirm and Afterpay and Klarna, but I'm only talking about your traditional types of credit. And those traditional types of credit are the types of credit that we want to make sure that you are establishing and understand how to utilize when it becomes the credit card realm. Okay, when we're in the credit card realm, the first thing we need to understand is that the credit card does not work exactly like the loan, but is very, very similar. When you have a loan, you have a ability to take out a certain amount of money in exchange for paying back in over a monthly installment a certain amount per month back. So you have a loan, let's say you borrowed $5,000, and they say that out of the $5,000, we're only going to have you pay back about $250 a month. And so you're good with that, and you pay that every month faithfully. You pay off the loan, and then you go back and get another one. Okay. But when it comes to a credit card, the difference is that they keep giving you additional loan amounts. They keep increasing the amount that they originally gave you, and they give you the opportunity to use some of the money and then pay it back down. Now, when we talk about paying it back down, what I want you to really understand here is that you should never have a credit card that you are using over 30%. And I know that you probably already knew that, but I want you to really understand this from a different angle. When we have credit, and especially that we want to have a good credit score, we want to have those 700s and the 800s and even the 850s, then we have to understand that when we obtain these credit cards, that they are not there for emergency purposes. They are not there for us to just use at any point in time in our life. They are there for us to use at an appropriate time for a particular purpose. So, what am I saying? I'm saying that when you have a credit card, that you need to make sure that you are only thinking from the perspective of the creditor. The creditor wants you to take the credit card limit and look at a percentage of usage, not the full amount of the limit. Because what the creditor is saying is that prove to me that you don't need my money. Prove to me that you do not need to use every single penny of this credit card. So, how can you prove that you don't need the money that has been given to you as a credit limit on a credit card? And this also applies to the department store cards as well. If it is a card of any kind, then it works in this manner. The first rule of the credit card is that you cannot go over 30% of the credit limit. So you have to know first how much money is the credit limit. How much money did the creditor give you or stop you at, or how much money did you put down on the credit card to create a credit limit? So let's understand this. A secured card versus a unsecured card, okay? A secure card is when you don't have a high enough credit score to use for your own reputation that the creditor would give you their money. They will not give you a credit limit if your credit score is at a certain level. So, what we have to do when we have a lower credit score is we have to put our own money on the credit card. And if we put our own money on the credit card, then guess what? Then whatever that amount we put on that card is going to be our credit limit. So if you know what the credit limit is and you multiply the credit limit by 3.0, this 0.30, excuse me, then that is going to be the amount of money that you need to make sure your balance never goes over. Okay, let's just pause right there because I know that's a lot. If you really want to make sure that the creditor lender understands that you can manage the money that they gave you or the money that you decide to put on the credit card and create your own limit, but using the company's reputation, then what you will understand is that the creditor is going to love you and they are going to increase your credit limits later on because you are showing proof that you don't need the money. The second thing that we need to understand about a unsecured credit card is this is when the creditor does give you their money. So they create the credit limit for you. They may start you out with a $300 limit, $200 limit. They might start you out with a $500 limit or a $1,000 limit or higher. It doesn't matter what the limit is. The rule is that you have to keep it below 0.30% or 30% of the credit limit. You can't go over the 30% under any circumstances. Now, I know that there are millions of people out here who are deciding that, hey, I'm going to just pay the 30% back. I'm going to pay not just the 30%, but if I go over the 30%, I'm going to pay back the extra money that I had to use on the credit card because they told me my available credit was the whole amount of the credit limit. But I want to say to you, do not do it. Don't even try it because that is what's going to cause your credit score to drop over 50 points. Okay, I just wanted to get a little bit closer so to make sure that you understood the words that came out of my mouth. All right, when we say not to go over 30% of your credit limit, that is a absolute. That is a must do. You cannot go over 30% of the credit limit if you're trying to show proof to the lender that you can manage your credit card. Okay, so if you have a credit card and you're over 30%, your first objective is to get it under 30% as soon as possible. And don't even mention going over the credit limit because when you go over the credit limit, guess what happens? When you go over the credit limit, it tells the lender not only can you not manage credit, but it tells the lenders and creditors that they can't trust you at all because you like to steal money. Basically, you're taking money that they never offered you. And what is that? When you take something that doesn't belong to you, that's called stealing. So we don't want to have that impression with our creditors and lenders. So we got to make sure we're not over the credit limit. And we also have to make sure that we are not over the 30%. All right, so we got those things down pat. The next thing that you have to do as far as a credit card is to understand that you have to use the credit card. When we are talking about utilization, the utilization still has to stay in between 0 and 30%. So that means that you could use 10%, 30, 20%, 30%, up to 30% is your max. You cannot go over 30% of the credit limit, but you have to use the card and keep it below 30%. So if you have a $200 credit card, that means that you can only use $60. If you have a $300 credit card, that means that you can only use $90. If you have a $500 credit card, you can only use $150. And if you have like a $1,000 credit card, then you can use $300. That's right. Those are our average numbers that we see all the time where our clients and even people who have never been in our program before, when they ask us questions, this is the issue. You are utilizing the card, meaning that you use that credit card over the 30%, but you are using it, but you don't keep it within the range that it's supposed to be in. So you have to keep the card active, meaning that the card cannot be closed, the card has to stay open, and it has to show the activity that you are utilizing that card. So, how do you use your credit card? The way that you want to use your credit card is you always want to put something on that card, especially something that you normally use every month anyway, such as a Netflix bill. Maybe you could put your cell phone bill on there. Perhaps you could even put some gas on there because gas is really high. So, $60 probably would fill you up like once every couple of weeks, right? So, whenever we think about utilization, we have to understand that that utilization is necessary for us to have a good credit score. We cannot sit around and not use our cards. So that leads me to our third point. Your card can never, ever, ever be at zero. Now, I know like a lot of you guys are probably like, Michelle, what the heck are you talking about? I'm talking about what I have known for over 30 plus years and has never ever changed. No matter what names we call it, whatever we change the names or the identification of someone using their credit cards the proper way, none of the systems have changed. So, what we got to understand about credit is even though other things may change in the credit game, what does not change is how to use this card and the things that I'm explaining to you today. So, for those of us who love to pay off our balances every single month, I'm telling you right now, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You are not allowing your revolving line of credit, which is a credit card, to give you enough points for your usage. What happens is, yeah, you got the usage down pat. Maybe you're not going over 30%, but are you paying off that card every month to cause you to limit the amount of points that they can give you for that credit card? So, what am I saying to you about this credit card? This third point about your credit card is that you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot pay off your balances. You have to leave a small balance to show proof that money is being carried over to the next month so that it will give you the utilization. You can use the card, but if you go ahead and pay it off, then the next month, it's still going to show a zero balance every time. And you're losing points because there's no balance showing that is below 30% that shows that you had any kind of activity on that credit card. So listen, if you have learned something today, I want you to go ahead and comment below. I want you to go ahead and let us know today how you are about to change the way you use your credit card. God wants you to understand that this is a major, major, major point that we are making here. And we don't want you to fail in the credit game. We want you to win at the credit game. So if you are listening and if you are learning something, tell us what you've learned today. Show us in writing what it is that you're going to change about your credit cards today. And like I said, it applies to both department store cards and credit cards. And we want to make sure that you are doing things the right way so that you can win every time. Now, if you need some additional help because maybe you have multiple credit cards and you don't really understand exactly the things that I just talked about, you can come right on over to KBCR LLC.com. You can come right on over to Kingdom Builders Credit Repair and we will help you to manage every single credit card that you got. I don't care if you have 100 credit cards. Listen, I myself, just because I'm the credit lady, I've had approximately about 30 credit cards altogether, I would say, that I manage. And so when we talk about credit, we talk about not just talking the talk, but actually walking the walk and experiencing for ourselves. Me, that's right, Michelle Green, the founder and owner of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, have tried these principles around credit. So to make sure that when you try them, that they actually work. I'm not just called the credit lady for no reason. I'm called the credit lady because of experience and because of the things that we have been practicing all throughout the time that we started with credit at the age of 19 that have actually worked. So if you're trying to get in our credit program, or if you're already in the credit program, congratulations, you're at the right place. And if you're trying to come on over to the program, listen, go ahead and click that Let's Talk button on the website down below, kingdombuilderscreditrepair.com, and let's get into a strategy session so we can strategize how to get these credit cards taken care of, okay? It doesn't matter how bad you have had it, even if your credit cards have already gone into late payment statuses, if they have gone into charge off write offs, or even if they have gone into a collection status. There is always hope for you to begin again. And we can show you exactly how, based on our system and how we have cultivated every single one of our clients to get back on track and get their scores back over 700, or for over 700 at the very first time in their life. Okay? So come on over, stop playing games, and listen. We just want to thank you for listening today. We want to make sure that you are subscribed. Again, we do want to give a shout out to our streaming platform, which is CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network is a platform that streams our show and podcast to 3.6 billion people in the world. That is a lot of people. And we are so grateful for Dr. Tina J. Ramsey and Curtis Ramsey. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your network. Thank you for allowing us to stream all over the world in over 175 countries. Listen, this is all that I have to talk about today, but I hope that you have taken away something that you can implement, that you can take and really improve your credit and your finances and make changes that are really going to be a lifetime change for you in the credit world. So until next time, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next Friday from 12 to 12:30. That's right here on Kingdom Builders Credit Repair TV show and the KBCR podcast. Take care. Until next time. Bye-bye.